Hey guys, might have a little something fun, a little different for you if you guys are into the tech side of things. If you're a geek and a nerd, you might enjoy what we're going to show off, and that is our computer setup. This is something I actually haven't showcased on our channel at all. In fact, we've done collectibles, we've done statues and figures, as a matter of fact, our whole collection, gone into stores and hunted, of course, but never shown you what goes on behind the scenes. Not only just in YouTube and editing and all that thing, but actually what my personal work is, what I do for a job outside of YouTube. A good computer setup is vital for my personal job, so I have to have something cool, and since I'm a nerd, I gotta spice it up a little bit. As you can see, maybe it's probably a little blurry, but I center it after Batman. Lots of Batman, but in specific, Flashpoint Batman, because I like the red and the black. The red and the black is really attractive to me, whether it's with the computers or just on Batman in general. So, without further ado, I'm excited to show you this because I just got done building a computer and setting it up and getting new monitors and putting everything together. So I think you guys are going to like it. Let's get started. Alright, so here we go. This is kind of a quick overview of what we're about to go over. But I want to start off with a wall here because there's a couple art prints on here that I'm a huge fan of, and I was very happy to add them to my collection. As you can see, I don't have a whole lot of wall space here, so I wanted to make it count, and I think I definitely did with a couple sideshow art prints. First one is over here. This is an Alex Ross art print. It's called The Death of the Wolverine, and again, it's Alex Ross. You can see he signed it. That's a real signature, and then it's also numbered. So yeah, big fan of that. I love that art. It's just beautiful. His artwork, I mean, he's my favorite comic book artist. You can't deny his talent. He's unbelievable. And then I also got this one. This one's called Dark Knight Returns from Dave Wilkins. That kind of speaks for itself, right? Look at the colors. Look how bold that is. That is beautiful. If you're a Dark Knight fan, the animated movie, or even the comic book, there's no way you're going to look at that and not fall in love. Just beautiful. From the frame to the orange pinning to the orange and red, just bold background. I love it. Beautiful. Again, signed by him on the bottom, numbered. So yeah, beautiful. So I definitely think I made it count. They bookend our corner wall and just give it color and character. And so yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Now moving on, we have our YouTube silver play button. You might have seen the video of this, I'm not sure, but this is when we passed 100,000 subscribers. Super happy, humble to have that. It's unbelievable to look up at that when I'm editing and think, hey, you do get something out of YouTube when you work real hard. A little plaque on your wall. So yeah, again, thank you guys for being a part of that. Means a lot to us, and it's just cool to have one of those. Now moving down, you might have seen this. This is a Nerd Therapy neon light. My dad actually had this made off of somebody on eBay, I think I got for Christmas. So it's really cool. I love how it spreads the blue light all over the wall. It's really cool, right? I mean, it just looks really nice. Even though it doesn't really match the colors for what we're doing here, because we're mainly going red, it still looks really cool. Now the colors are going to show up a little different inside the camera. That's actually red, not like an orange looking color, and the therapy is yellow, and then of course the border is blue, but sometimes cameras can't really pick up the colors very well. But yeah, it looks really great on the wall. So that's it. That's the wall. Again, we don't have a lot of space between a window and a closet, so had to make it count. And we have a little more room. We can add some more stuff there a little bit later, but I really like it for what it is. It's really cool. Now above it, you probably see this, a whole bunch of DC and Batman pops. So I built a shelf and just made it go all the way around the room. And you'll see all that later when I get into another collection video. But yeah, I really like it. I thought all the color, it just really spices up the room and the collection. And it gives them kind of a more defined space instead of on the shelf. So I'm a big fan of what happened there. Now you can see I have my chromes up here, so we're waiting for blue at GameStop for San Diego Comic-Con. And again, I can't do the black boxes that they're coming on, so I'm going to have to buy another one of these black Batman boxes and just stuff them in there. I'll get two of them, so I'll have a black original one, but you know, I gotta keep it original. Now moving down here, we have more of the baseball bat cases that we'll be doing something with those pretty soon. And then you're probably asking yourself, you said you were doing a Flashpoint Batman inspired room, but I see nothing Flashpoint Batman. Well, he's here, I promise you. This is the most expensive thing in my collection, and that is a Flashpoint Batman Prime 1 statue. You can see he's huge. He's gigantic. And yeah, I'll have a review for him hopefully next week or the week after. I just haven't really had the chance to because of my personal work's been really busy lately, but I'll definitely get it out because I'm in love with this thing. And you can see the logo here behind him. I had this made off of Etsy, which I'll talk about. It's a light. So, I mean, that's pretty cool looking, right? Awesome. Love that. Absolutely love that. And I just have a kind of a makeshift table I've kind of built with some Hot Toy stuff under it. But I'm making something cool to go there. I just don't have it done yet. But yeah, that is kind of what inspired me to make this Flashpoint Batman in red and everything. So you can kind of understand why I went the way I went with the red lighting on the bottom, as you can see, and then the flashpoint on the screen. And yeah, just looks cool. But it all surrounds him. Now I guess this would be a good time to go over the chair here. It's a gaming chair, a Clutch Echo Red, I believe is what it's called. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't really know what to think about gaming chairs because I've always had an office chair kind of my whole life. But I was beginning to have back problems, so I decided it was the time to jump into one of these and see if it worked, if they were what they said they were. And they were what they said they were. They actually really helped my back. I had a lot of back problems, like I said, and they've almost all been eliminated with one of these chairs. So I've been very, very pleased with how they've turned out. Now, I got the Clutch because you've probably seen that PewDiePie meme where he like lays all the way down. He's like, but can it do this? Well, it's funny and all, but I thought to myself, wait a minute, I would like my chair to do that because sometimes I do sleep at my computer desk. So I thought, hey, and you know what? It does what it says it does. It goes all the way down and you can lay on it. So I'm a big, big fan of that chair. And as you can see, I got the red and the black because it matches with it. So it looks really cool. Now, I also have a chair coming from a company called eWin that I'm going to be reviewing next week. So I can kind of compare and contrast the Clutch chair to the eWin. We can talk about it and kind of do a review and see what I like about them. But overall, I'm a big fan of gaming chairs now, I guess. Okay, so now let's go over the desk, how I built the desk and what exactly that is. And don't worry about the wiring. I know a lot of people get crazy about the wiring, but I'm just not that kind of guy. That's about as good as you're going to get it from me, to be honest with you. But I do have that surge protector that's really cool. It's got like a built-in battery, so if you lose power from like a storm or something, it will continue to stay powered for a couple hours. So hopefully we'll have our power back within a couple hours and nothing will happen. Nothing will get shorted or I'll lose any saved progress, because that's the real reason I got it. I can work long hours into a project and then the power goes out and I lose everything sometimes, even though I have an autosave function. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But yeah, so here we go. Countertop. It is IKEA. You've probably seen these going around YouTube. Really everybody nowadays just goes and makes their computer desk from IKEA because it's pretty inexpensive for what it is and it's high quality. This is actually a kitchen countertop. This is a Hammarp, I believe is what they call it from IKEA, and it's solid. So you got to be careful. A lot of the desks that you can go get, the tops have like the honeycomb on the inside of it. It's kind of hollow actually with a top and a bottom layer. This is a solid. It's basically like a butcher block. So yes, a little more than those other tops, but it's worth it in the end because it won't bow. A lot of people have problems with bowing. Now I did add these poles, these legs here, 2 on the end, 1 in the middle. Those are like $5 poles from IKEA. I believe they're called the Addles. So if you guys wanted to skip doing maybe some of these cabinets and just do the legs, you can do that. It is inexpensive if you wanted to do it that way. Now speaking of the cabinets, these are Alex drawers. You've probably seen these. They have all different kinds of things, whether they're these or bigger tables or skinnier ones. These come in all different kinds of things. And they come in a whole lot of colors too, like white, brown, black, gray, I think blue maybe. Lots of different colors you can get those in, but very cool. I kind of liked them because they looked sort of like Batman's armor, like his stomach armor, sort of. And I had plans to dye or stain this top here like a black or a gray and give it kind of a cool Batman look. But I never got to it, and I probably won't, but it is what it is. I think it still looks okay. So that is the desk. Now let's get into all the tech on top of the desk. All right, so first off, I'm sorry about the glare. I have to have a lot of lights in here because I usually keep the office pretty dark, and it's a little hard to get a lot of light going in here with the gray walls. But this is my Wacom Cintiq 22 HD. This is a monitor that you draw on. So you can see I have a pin here. And if you're a digital artist like myself, if you're a sculptor or a painter or anything like that, this is a godsend. This is like the best technology in the world. Has a ton of different points of pressure. And yeah, you can use it as a monitor too if you want. But most importantly for me, I use it for like sculpting or doing any digital paintings in Photoshop and that kind of thing. Now moving over, we have just this Yeti mic. You've probably seen these everywhere. I mean, they've been around for a while. They're a good, pretty inexpensive mic for a computer if you're a streamer or whatever you're doing with them. They're a good mic. And then I just have this pop screen and extension arm kit that I got from Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. There really wasn't. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's cool because you can lift it up and down when you need to talk or move that or whatever. So the day that I decide to live stream on YouTube, I'll be ready to go. Now, speaking of live streaming, I just have kind of a cheap Logitech 1080p webcam. So I don't really use it other than work for Skyping and stuff for business. But someday I will live stream and use that. So those just kind of set me up for the live streaming option. Now I do have a sound system too. These are called Bose Companion 2s. They got one here and one there. So they're pretty basic. They don't look like much, but if you know anything about Bose, the sound is just, you don't need a lot because it just sounds so great when they were playing. That was actually only $100. So if you're looking for an inexpensive, really good sound system, I definitely recommend those. It's funny though, I bought it and for 2 solid months I thought, man, these suck for Bose because I couldn't hear like talking and low sounds and everything, just terrible. It was all muffled. Well, I just the other day looked into my settings and found that the bass and the treble were all the way up and it was drowning out anything. I couldn't hear anything. And lo and behold, that's what it was. So I turned those down and now the sound sounds beautiful. So yeah, I'm a big fan of those. Wasn't early on, but I definitely am now, so happy with those. Now, this big, beautiful monitor here sitting right in front of us is the LG 34UM60 Ultrawide IPS monitor. It is IPS, so you can look at it at different corners and none of the color goes out, which is good for me because, again, I'm a digital artist, so I need to look at it from different angles, turn it upside down and everything, and I can't have the color getting messed up. So it's a great, great monitor. It's not something, you know, it's ultra fancy. It's not like 4K or anything. You're not going to be astounded by it. But the price is pretty good. I think I got the thing for less than $300, and that's a heck of a deal for a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor. Now, the reason I wanted it, actually, I didn't even know what these things were. I didn't really pay attention to what an ultra-wide monitor was because before this setup, I had a monitor up high, a monitor below, and then my Cintiq in front of that. And I was going to go with that, but I didn't have a room this time. So I was really trying to think about what to do, and I found this out, and the reason I fell in love with it is because you can actually do 4 different tabs, 4 different screens on one of those at the same time. So that sold me right away. I was like, oh, gotta get it. Or you can do 2, and it splits down the center a lot better where you have 2 solid ones, but, you know, 4 kind of squishes the screen. But it works, and it's really, really cool, and I'll never go back. I have to do ultra-wide the rest of my life, I'm pretty sure at this point. So I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, moving down, we just have a couple random things. I got this thing on Amazon. It's just a card reader, just a bunch of different card readers, whatever you have, and 3 USBs, too, if you need it. And then I 3D printed that just holds my SD cards. So that's about all that is. And then we get into the keyboard, mouse, and keyboard pad. So first off, the keyboard, I didn't really need anything special because I'm not a gamer. This is technically a workstation for me, but I still wanted to play the light game. I still wanted to do the RGB and all that and make it look fancy. And so I did. I found this one. It's relatively inexpensive. It's not something, you know, that you can show off or anything like some of these. These things get pretty expensive when you look at them. The gaming keyboards, they're insane how expensive they get. But this one wasn't that expensive. It was around $50, which I thought was a pretty good deal for it. And so I went ahead and went with it. It's a Razer Cynosa Chroma gaming keyboard. And as you can see, I really like these lights because this effect is like a campfire, I think is what they call it. If you look close, you can see how it kind of looks like it's burning. So that's super cool. Again, you can turn that any color you want. Whatever. Blue, purple, pink, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can make it that color, but obviously I'm going with red. And I could have done solid red, but I really, really like that burning effect. I thought it was really cool. Now moving over to the mouse, this is something else I fell in love with. I was just going to get a regular mouse, and I went to Best Buy to find a regular mouse, but I couldn't find one. They were all gaming mouses, or mice, I guess I should say. And I found this one. This one is the HyperX Pulsefire mouse. Now let me show you why I love this. First off, yes, the LEDs or the RGBs are cool. You can change them colors. But look at the sides of these. Check that out. It's got like a rubber grip on it. And I'm telling you, that makes a difference. It's silky smooth, and just, I love that. That's an awesome mouse. I love that. Now you can see this keyboard pad under here. You're probably saying, what is that? That thing's pretty cool. Is there a Batman on that? And the answer is yes. Let me move the keyboard and I'll show you what's going on down here. So originally when I decided I'm going to make a Bat-inspired computer setup, I looked for mouse pads and keyboard pads and everything that was Batman. And I didn't really like any of them, to be honest with you. Mainly because I couldn't find one that was red or Flashpoint Batman. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? So I Googled, and I found a company called Print Your Pad, where you can just send in artwork, and voila, they print it on a pad. And that's what I got here. And tell me this piece of art isn't just insanely awesome. Check this out. Now, this is a piece from Phantom City Creative. It's just called Batman the Animated Series. It was originally an art piece in the Mondo Studios. Unfortunately, it sold out before I found it, because I really wanted to buy it and then put it on my wall. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you if you had a keyboard pad like it? It'd be insane. But they were sold out, unfortunately. But I'll hopefully find one on eBay someday. But, yeah, really, really cool. And the quality, the print quality is really great. You can look at it up close here. It's pretty good. Now, the thing is, the picture that I got off the internet, the resolution wasn't that high. So they've, upscaled it or brought the resolution up or something. So it looks really good. So I was very, very happy with how that turned out. And I only paid, I think, like $40 for that. And you can see how big it is. So, yeah, if you guys want one of those, I'll put a link down below because I highly recommend that. I mean, there's no better way to theme your computer than putting a keyboard pad on there, I think, anyways. Okay, so moving to maybe a more boring area, the printer. Now, me personally, I like printers. I know a lot of you might not. But this one I was very, very happy with because I had to print a lot of things because when I'm doing box art or something along the lines, I need a big printer, something that prints large and high quality. And this is what I got in the Canon IP8720. This is a large format printer, so it actually prints 13 by 19. Typical printers usually print 8.5 by 11, of course. So this prints much bigger than that. So when I'm printing even like a Funko Pop box, when I'm doing a custom, I can print almost the entire box on one sheet. And it prints on gloss picture paper and looks crystal clear, just like it came from the factory. So I really, really like that printer. It's a heck of a printer. I'm a big fan of Canon's printers, to be honest with you. I've tried just about everything, HP, I mean, you name it. And I gotta say, Canon rocks. Now, their ink is a little high, of course, but still, they still rock. I want quality, and sometimes you just have to pay for quality. Okay, so moving into the computer, the engine, the cool part that everybody wants to see. This is a case, first off. This is a Define R6 Fractal case. Really cool, I love it. The front end, you can see, is like this black brushed aluminum, which I thought was cool. It kind of looked sort of Batman-y, right? It kind of gives you that little thing. Because I had big dreams to put Batman stuff on it, and I still do. I just haven't got to that point yet. And then I added these two 66 Joker and Batman magnets that I think came in a Target box, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a Legion of Collectors. I think that was in the 66 Batman box from Target. So I just added them. I mean, they're metal. It's a magnet. Why not, right? Now, the top of the case has a couple things here. You got your headphone jack, your mic, 2.0, two 2.0s, and two 3.0s, and, of course, your power button. So, yeah, pretty basic. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it, which I wanted. I didn't want anything super fancy because I'm not really a super fancy person, to be honest. So I just kind of went with that. Now, the other end, I did try to do some good stuff here. I took the glass piece off already. There's a glass piece that goes in front of it, but it's a little hard to see with the glare when you don't. But this is what I got going on inside of it. So it's pretty cool, right? Shiny red RAM. It's just whatever, but I liked it. I liked the RGB, and I thought if I'm going to do something red and black, I need to get as much red and black as possible on the computer. So I went ahead and went with some of the RGB RAM, and then you get little reds here and there. So I really like it. Now I know a lot of you are going to want to know what specs are inside of it, so let me get a little closer and we'll go over that. All right, so let's start off with, let's go with the motherboard first, because you can kind of see it back there a little bit. It's got a little light in there, which is pretty good. This is an ASUS Prime X399A. So I've been pretty happy with this board. Now I'm still trying to figure a couple things out. I don't know if it's a problem with my RAM or with my motherboard, but I'm getting a blinking light on one of my RAM sticks, and it'll kind of freeze for a second, which it shouldn't because I built this thing to be a workhorse. So I've been talking to ASUS and G.Skill, trying to figure out exactly what the problem is. And I've heard everything from board to RAM to Windows 10. So we're still getting to the bottom of it, exactly what's happening, and we'll get there eventually. But other than that, I've been a fan of the board. It's been pretty good. Now, speaking of the RAM, we'll talk about that. These are G.Skill Trident Z RGB sticks of RAM. Each one of them is 16 gigabytes of RAM for a total of 64 gigs. So, yeah, that's all I really want to say about that, because RAM is expensive. But I needed the RAM, I needed the memory, and I needed a lot of it, unfortunately, and it cost me. We'll say that it cost me. Although, I checked the other day, and it seems the prices of them are gone down quite substantially from what I paid for it. So that's cool. But I wasn't that lucky. I had to pay quite a bit. So I'm hoping that the RAM isn't the problem with the blinking, because if it is, well, you know, that's kind of going to annoy the heck out of me because I spent a lot of money on them. But that was important when I thought about the things that I needed most in this computer build. That was it. In fact, I guess I should say the reason I chose this case, the Fractal Define R6, is because it's big. It's a big case, you can see, and it fits everything in there very easily. This was my first build and Ashley's first build, and we built it together. So, I didn't want to fight the size of the case along with trying to figure out how to do it. So luckily I didn't have to. This was very easy, actually. When they say plug and play, it's very simple. It is. So if you're thinking about building a computer, don't be scared. I kind of was to begin with, and I gotta be honest, it wasn't that hard at all. It's just following directions and letting PC Part Picker do the work for you, to be honest. So yeah, I've been really happy. Now, processor. This is very important for me. My last processor I had in my computer, it was becoming sluggish for a lot of the work I was doing, and I needed to upgrade, so I did. This one's an AMD Ryzen Threadripper 1950X that has 16 cores and 32 threads, which you can't see it because the fan is on it. It's cooling the processor. So yeah, big, powerful processor for what I needed, and I've been very happy with it. I've been very happy with it. AMD's killing it. I gotta be honest, AMD's killing it. Now, cooling it brought a new problem. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. Again, this is my first build, so liquid cool kind of scared me, to be honest, and I didn't want to do it. So I wanted to do it the old-fashioned way and go fan, and I found out that Noctua has a heck of a fan, and that's what I went with. The Noctua NH-U14S. And if you ever see these Noctuas, they come with this really ugly tan and brown fan, and that wasn't going to do, of course. So I went ahead and upgraded it to, I think they call it an NF-A15, and it's just black, and then you can change these corner pieces to any color you want. So, of course, I changed them to red, and I think it looks really great. So now we have sort of this red and black setup, and it's really starting to look good. And I do like the chrome. Now, you can get pieces that fit on top of that if you want and want to go fancy. You can either put another fan on that side if you want. But I just left it like that because I thought it looked kind of cool. Now, moving down to the graphics card. Again, this brought some more problems because originally I was going to buy a 1080 Ti. The prices were really good, and I thought that'd be more than enough power because I don't really need a fantastic graphics card. I need a good one. Now, a 1080 Ti is a fantastic card. I just didn't go and get one because they all sold out because just at the time I was building this computer, NVIDIA came out with a new RTX line. There's a big hubbub about ray tracing. Now, for me personally, I'm a big fan of ray tracing because I use ray tracing in animation. I use ray tracing a lot, actually. So I was sold on ray tracing, but I didn't want to pay for the price of it because it was super expensive. And at the time, the 1080 Ti was much cheaper. Well, because when NVIDIA brought these cards out, there wasn't a giant leap in technology, but the prices went through the roof on them. They were really expensive. So everybody went ahead and bought out the 1080 Ti's because that was their top of the line one. And it kind of forced me to buy an RTX. Now, I didn't really want to pay that much for anything new because I don't like buying new technology because they're bound to have some sort of issue with it, and they didn't have all the kinks worked out of it. Now, so far I haven't had an issue, and I've been happy with it. I've been happy with the card. Now, why I'm really happy is because I got it during Black Friday, and they had a special sale going on where I got $150 off of it, and I got Battlefield 1 for free. So I actually got it technically cheaper than what the 1080 Ti was when it was normal priced. So I was happy. I was a happy camper. So I wouldn't have recommended getting the RTX probably over the 1080 Ti, but I didn't have a choice, and I got a good deal. So I was happy with it. And it's been a good card. It's been a real good card. Now, another thing you probably don't care about, and you can't even see it, but my power source down there, you're not going to be able to see it because if you build a computer, you know once it's in there, you don't really want to mess with it and get it out. But this is an EVGA Supernova 850 WG3. So, good power brick. I like it. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's not going to short out, and I got plenty of power in there, more than I need. Now, another thing that you can't see because it's hidden way under here, we're getting into my hard drives. So, under that silver wall there, you can kind of see it there. It looks like a stick of gum. Do you see that? It's tucked way back there. Is my M.2. So, this is an M.2 970 Evo, and that's 500 gigabytes. That's what I have basically the system on. Super, super fast. So, I've been a big fan of these M.2s. I never had one before, and I'm sold. I'm real sold. I also have one right here, this black thing here. That is a solid state drive. I went with a solid state drive, 500 gigabyte Samsung 860 Evo. So again, I needed something for my personal work that was fast, and that's done that. And then when I thought about YouTube, I need a lot of stuff. I need a lot of space. So I went with, I don't even know where it is, somewhere in here. I went with a 4 terabyte Western Digital drive. So it's a mechanical drive. It's nothing you know, it's not a solid state drive, unfortunately. But if you wanted 4 terabytes of a solid state drive, you were going to pay a crazy amount of money. So I went with just a basic mechanical drive, and I back them up anyway, so it's not an issue. To be honest, I'll have them even if something goes wrong with it. But yeah, so that's what I went with. A total of 5 terabytes actually. So a total of 5 terabytes in here. All right, so that is the computer. That is the whole computer up and down. Again, we have lots of cool, just like little RGB lights, red lights hidden in certain little places. Luckily, the warning monitor there, it's in red, so I didn't have to go against the color there. But yeah, you can change these any colors you want to. They don't have to be just red, but I like the red. I think it's cool. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is that cool? I know I need to add something Batman in there. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet because I don't want it to look gaudy. That's my biggest issue. I don't want to put things in there that just make it look bad. So I'm still looking. I'm still looking at what I'm going to do, but I've been happy with it. I've been very, very happy with it. And I will definitely build another computer in my future. I will never buy one again because this is the way to go. If I would have bought this computer, I would have spent, I don't know, probably another $1,500 to be honest, from what I spent. So yeah, it's much cheaper to build one. And you can do it. I promise you can. If you think you're inept and you have no clue about technology, I promise you'll figure it out. You really will. And another shout out to everybody that helped me go through this, because some of the stuff I didn't know how to do, and I was able to talk to some of my buddies on Facebook, like JT. He helped me out a ton. I didn't know some of the things to do, and he hooked me up with the knowledge, and now I have it. So that's cool. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Alrighty, so that was my Flashpoint Batman inspired computer setup. Let me know down below if you guys have a computer setup and what you have it inspired by. Are you also kind of going with the superhero theme or maybe something else? Again guys, thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.